Welcome to episode 5 of T4Chats. I'm back in Tuscaloosa. I finally got a break week. In 2 days, I will be leaving to go to Backwoods, so I won't be in this office for the next episode, for episode 6. But I'm back now, and I am with Collin Stewart.
That's me.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Collin has, I think he texted me like 3 weeks ago. Like after the first episode with Pearson dropped, he was like, "Please get me on."
I've been a fan of the show. It's been great so far.
So Collin has been a planned guest for a while now. It is currently like past 1 in the morning. On it's what Saturday, June 21st.
Yep.
Yes, it is Saturday, June 21st.
4 days after my sister's birthday.
That's true. Hey, happy birthday, Collin's sister. Late birthday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was unaware. I was uninformed.
3 days. Three days after.
Yeah, you better keep that in. Yeah. Collin is actually going to edit this episode.
Yep.
So all the editing that so all of the editing that will be done in this week's episode will be Collin. So
and never again.
And never again. So this week is going to be the best editing because Collin actually uses really good software and I use the free version of CapCut. So there's a big difference between those two things. Anyways, let's get started on today's episode.
All right.
Collin, where are you from?
I am from a little town called Hazel Green, Alabama, which is located right above Huntsville, Alabama. Very similar to Swallow Falls and not How to Train Your Dragon. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and the little A under the Atlantic. That's Hazel Green. That's exactly Hazel Green. It's a very small town. You know, I don't know everyone, but I know some people in Hazel Green, mostly from my church. But you know, it's a nice little area. It's really growing a lot, mostly due to Huntsville growing. Mm-hmm. So they're building a bunch of restaurants and banks and other buildings that exist. I would really like them to just make one of every building there, just so it would be just nice to stay there. But I guess that's what Huntsville is for. So yeah, that's where I'm from. I've been living there my whole life.
Awesome. We have a lot of T4C students from the Huntsville area.
Yeah, so. it's really growing a lot. It's just got like it used to be mostly known for like engineering, and that's like where UAH is, and so that's where all of the engineers go. I have a lot of engineer friends that I have nothing to talk about with because they're always talking about engineering, and so I'm just like, hey.
Hi.
Movies, and they're like, no. Some of them actually. I actually one of my engineering friends. I'll call him Joe. And we used to make movies a lot when we were younger on YouTube, mm-hmm. and a bunch of stupid movies. Not to be confused with Joey, who was also in my movies. Joey was that guy's real name, but Joe is the person that I'm referring to here.
He's
Joe.
He's
Joe.
Yours.
Joe.
I'm
Joe. But we used to make a lot of funny movies there, and that's kind of where I got my love of movies there. But yeah, Huntsville and Hazel Green, great cities.
So Hazel Green was where the creative spark was born.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. I guess so. Like, do you and like Wesley have like a rivalry? Because like Wesley's like south of Huntsville and Hazel Green is like north. So is there like, I don't know.
No rivalries, not at all. North and south are great. It's the east and the west that you got to look out for, because the weird directions.
That's fair. Yeah. We'll move on to the next question. What is your profession or major? I know you just graduated, so I guess profession might be better.
In college, my major at UA, it was called creative media. At other colleges, it would be either be called communications media. Some colleges call it film arts. So I mainly did it for film, for making movies. And during my time at UA, I did make some projects that T4C has seen a couple of them. But I also helped with a bunch of other people's projects, and it was a really fun experience getting to be on these sets, and it was very stressful as well. A lot of stress. My second to last semester, uh, I was directing my first full short film, like a 7 to 8 minute film, and I was like, "Oh, that's not going to be that bad, right? It's only 7 to 8 minutes." A lot of planning. I looked over there. Why am I looking over there? I don't know. There's nobody there. Uh, a lot of planning went into that film, and it was a very personal film as well. And so I felt like I had to get it done in the way that I wanted it to get done, and like my vision. And so I spent a lot of nights like not sleeping. I was like, "Oh, what am I going to do tomorrow to get progress more in this film?" And so I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from that experience there, a lot with like working with my producer, who's a great producer, and working with my cast. And I needed to find that great relationship of like, we're friends. Like I wanted to make friends with them so that we could have good communication, good vibes on set, but also keep that like professional relationship as well, where it's like, I expect you to do this thing. I hope you do it, but if you don't do it, you're fired. But still be friends, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep that relationship there. And so I learned a lot from that, which made my next film of my last semester much easier and much better to get by. And I think it really turned out well. Those two films.
Yeah, I do remember watching your most recent one with like
Left and
the
Right.
yeah, Left and Right. That was a good one.
Thank you.
I believe we had two T4C members in that one.
Yes, we had Andrew Rydenor and
It was Dustin, wasn't it?
yeah, it was Dustin
Yeah.
Straight. Yeah, they did great. I really like putting like some friends in there because like
hmm
I don't know, it is something I can look back on as like, I wonder where they are.
It feels like your own little like cameo
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
like
yeah.
your own like your own
Uh-huh.
flair.
And I knew that Dustin always wanted to be like in a film,
hmm
in like a like acting in something. And I was like, this is, and he was really cool on set. He was really like cracking jokes and making us like laugh every now and then while we're stressing about like getting to the next shot. So he really gave us a laid back experience on set. So he was
Yeah.
great, and Andrew was also fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's really important, especially in like a professional setting. Like if you're like super
I'm
stressed about
shaking just
something,
thinking about it, like
Yeah.
going back to where I was on set.
Now a word from our sponsors.
The next question that I have is, what is something about you that we might not know just by looking at you?
I have a lot of interest that I've gone into like sharing those with other people in my own way, mostly off of YouTube. But like I am really into well, some of the stuff that a lot of people know now that some people didn't know before is that like I'm into like board games. I've actually started studying like creating your own board game.
Okay.
And so I've that's kind of like a side thing that I'm doing, like a bucket list thing. Like I want to
Mhm.
make my own board game because that'd be pretty cool. I've also gotten into I like the history of random things. Like I dug into the history of McDonald's, which is very interesting.
Okay.
Bring back Mac tonight, please, because he was a great mascot. I like the history of Disney. I mean, it's a really interesting history with a lot of dark things that have happened, or theories that people think about. I'm trying to think because like it's like I have a lot of stuff that I get into, but like I don't like the timing never arrives to where I can bring this thing up.
hmm
Because I'm either like in a room by myself, like playing a video, and maybe there's something in the video that I would really like to share with someone. And so I just like leave it on, going like, is someone gonna walk in and then they're gonna go like looking at the TV and say, "Ooh, what's that?" And I'll be like, "Oh, well, let me explain this to you."
Boom, info dump.
That's been my only way of like informing people of my interests. So like a couple years ago, I got into the game Persona.
Mhm.
Playing Persona 4. I've gotten a lot into like JRPGs and stuff. And playing Persona 4 was one of the most unique gaming experiences I've had in a long time since I played Undertale before. And after Persona 4, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play. I studied the games before, and I heard about like 3, 4, and 5 were the biggest games to play, and 1 and 2 are like very dated. So I played 4 first because that one seemed like the most interesting one to me, and they're all like isolated stories, so it doesn't really matter which order you play them in. So I played 4, 5, and 3 in that order. So and like those games have just taken up like so many hours of my life in the past 3 years. So that's one interest I've gotten into, is like a lot of Japanese gaming, and just Japan in general is such an interesting like area of interest that I'm uh, for some reason like I don't really talk about that with a lot of people, because when some people think of Japan, they think of like anime or like uh, just cringy stuff that a lot of the internet has been like shoving down people's throats.
What are you doing? What? It's spreading.
But like I've watched a lot of videos about Japanese culture and like pop culture as well, like beyond anime, of like also like their food obviously is fantastic. And I've always wanted to like travel there. So I'd say like that is probably like my interest in Japan has been like is like not as, it doesn't show obviously because like I don't know, it's like strange to I don't know how to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected you to be into anime a little bit, because I mean, like
I mean, I'm
that
into it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that
strange.
goes into like a lot of like I feel like that's a common thing to be into if you like also like Undertale or
Yeah.
like stuff like that. It's kind of like a common theme almost.
Mhm.
Um,
Every one of my interests revolves. every one of my every one of my interests like revolves around Undertale for some reason. Like Undertale was inspired by like Shin Megami Tensei, which was a spin-off, or which Persona was spun off of. And then also uh uh Undertale was also like inspired by Earthbound, which I played before. Uh and so like I just feel like and Undertale has time travel in it, and I love time travel and a bunch of stuff. Like my favorite show is Steins Gate,
Mad scientist. Steins Gate!
which is all about time travel and like the
Mhm.
consequences of time travel. And my favorite movie is Back to the Future. Of course, time travel in there. If you haven't seen it,
Shame on you.
yeah, why haven't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, for some reason, Undertale just like always comes up in a conversation I talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like, I guess it was
I don't know. It was
hours.
yesterday.
It was several hours ago now, but technically yesterday. I walked into the church building and he was finishing one of the chapters of Delta. I think it was chapter 4
Chapter 4
of Deltarune. Yeah.
Very dark chapter. Very dark chapter.
But like I played Undertale because like it was very popular and I had heard a lot about it. But I haven't
yeah. Continue.
I haven't gotten into Deltarune just yet. I'm sure I probably will, but
All right. So Undertale is very interesting because the creator of Undertale,
Toby
Start-
Fox,
Toby Fox,
great,
amazing
commit,
game developer,
game developer
um,
and
composer.
Composer, thank you.
Yeah. But he started a Kickstarter for Undertale, and his goal was $5,000, and he raised 10 times that. He raised like over 50,000,
Holy cow!
and so he used that to make Undertale. But Deltarune was the original game that he wanted to make, and so with Undertale's success, all those like downloads and uh, all the success that he got from Undertale, he used the resources from that to make Deltarune, which was a much more complex story that he wanted to make. And he always wanted to keep his team small because he felt like the bigger the team, the more diluted the game is going to get.
Yeah.
And the less like direction he's going to be able to have. And so it's always been him and Temmie Chang is like his partner with that. And then the team's kind of gotten a little bigger over the years. Like maybe like, I don't know how many people are on the team. I'm not on the team. Why am I not on the team? I don't know.
Yeah, come on, Toby Fox. Put Collin Stewart on.
Put me on there. I can edit stuff. Or I don't know. But yeah, so I've just always admired like the amount of work he's put into this. And the amount of work that anyone puts into anything like by themselves or with a small group of people. Like being able to make something that could have the potential to be like this big. And I've just always like that's like I look up to those people.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge goal to accomplish. I mean that's a very large like bucket list item that I mean it would be absolutely awesome to do. Like I think I feel very similarly to that in like I've always wanted to write my own book.
Yeah.
And I had started one. I had started one at one point. Some people in T4C know this. I had started a book and I wrote like the first full chapter before I got here. Was trying to get some criticisms about it, left it alone for a few months. I came back and read it and I was like, man, this is terrible. And I deleted the whole thing. So eventually I'll get back to it, but yeah, whatever.
Like as a kid, I always wanted to be an author. And so and this would always happen when I listen to music is I would like a piece of music would like give me inspiration of like a story. Like, oh, and once again, going back to Undertale, I was inspired by Undertale to write a book. And it was the furthest I'd gotten in a book. I'd never finished it though, because like, I guess I just, I don't know. I didn't have a set plan of like beginning to end. Yeah. And that was always like my fault of like not planning things out. And so I think if I were to write a book, which I still do want to at some point, I would need to like write out the story before writing the book. Which there's a difference between that of like writing the story and then writing the story. And so I mean it was very similar to Undertale, where it's like kid is playing with another kid, falls into a puddle, which brings him to like the reflection of like the world of the overworld, and all that stuff. But maybe I can find it somewhere, and then maybe I can like look back at it. I did write a book with my middle school friend. I'll call him Joe 2. Joe 2. And we wrote a Five Nights at Freddy's book because this was when the movie was announced. So this was like 2015 because they announced the movie.
Yeah, like 10 years.
That long.
Yeah,
it
was
ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we wrote a book of like, what do you think the movie is going to be about? Because it's not just going to be this guy in this building,
right?
Which it kind of was.
That would have been so funny though if they wrote the entire movie where it was just like a Five Nights at Freddy's playthrough.
It's like I saw a meme of like the critics' reviews going like, "Oh, this is a terrible movie," and it's like what the critics wanted.
Yeah, so, I absolutely loved the movie though.
I
thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was really good. I remember like barely knowing anyone in T4C, and like we put a group together to go, and I'm trying to remember who all was there. I think it was Kendall, Sammy, Kate, Austin, Philip.
Oh man.
And Shayla. I don't even think know Shayla.
No.
So Shayla was shout out to Shayla. She will probably never see this, but Shayla was in me and Kendall's Camp 1831 like group, or like it's basically like a second orientation type thing if you don't know what Camp 1831 is. And she visited for a while at the start of our freshman year, which would have been 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
But kind of fell away, which is really sad. So we miss you, Shayla. We wish you would come back. But I do remember that she was there because it was like around Halloween time.
Yeah, it was. I remember when I went to go because it was a Sunday night, like the weekend that it came out, and on that Friday when it came out, I was like, "Oh, I gotta go see this," but I'm at home with my family, and I can't just tell my family I'm going to see Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
They'll be like, "What are you doing?" Uh, so it was Sunday night, and I was driving back to Tuscaloosa because I had to get there, of course, because I had a class the following morning.
Mhm.
So, but I was like, okay, there's a showing at 7 p.m. I'm gonna drive from here to Tuscaloosa or straight to the theater and get there. And I was like on time. I
Wait, you
was
saw it in Tuscaloosa?
yeah,
When I checked, they were not showing it in Tuscaloosa.
Really?
So we drove to Birmingham.
interesting.
We drove to Birmingham opening night and watched
Maybe
it.
maybe they didn't. I don't know why they wouldn't show it because it's like a. I mean,
I could have swore I remember checking and I just could not find it.
huh? I mean, I saw it.
Huh.
So,
Anyways.
but so I was just in there by myself, and it was great because it was like a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's fans.
Yeah.
And so it was a great experience. I love those movie theater experiences. I can't forget the Minecraft movie.
Oh man, that movie theater experience was really fun. Man, that was
Applause
so
is
funny.
every 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Now a word from our sponsors.
I think that's where we're gonna have to end this episode. I don't know how much more storage my phone has. Hopefully, it's still recording. I would be so sad if
no.
it wouldn't be. But we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Anyways, Colin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you in town. I know you've been going back and forth between
Yeah.
here and Huntsville. But everybody look forward to next week's episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like on it.
Subscribe.
And
Also,
subscribe and comment.
go to my channel too. I'll leave a link. You'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah, whoever uploads it,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see. But yeah, check out Colin's page channel. That's the word I'm looking for. Jeez, oh my gosh.
Check out my MySpace.
Yeah, check out his LinkedIn.
on the YouTube. I make movies and other random videos.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.